Hello everyone and welcome back to day 8 on the job site, and today we're setting trusses. Trusses are pretty much the whole roof package all built into one piece. Or multiple pieces actually. They're all bound together but they come in different shapes and sizes and you gotta put them together almost like a puzzle. What we're installing right now is the main structure of the roof. These ones flatten out at the top, and then after that we install the piggyback or the peak trusses. We also have trusses to set up a dormer on the left side of the house, as well as a set of trusses to go on the right side above the garage, which will be a double gable with some windows in it. So today we'll get all the main trusses set up for both houses, as well as some fascia and some plywood set as well. If you missed it, it took us 7 days to get to this point. The first house took 4 days and the second house took 3 days. You can catch all those videos on my channel at Old Dirty Carpenter, and with that I'll start explaining what I'm doing. So when the video starts, we already have 2 trusses set. The one on the outside is called the gable truss. After that, the rest are pretty standard, and they usually go on a 2-foot layout. I'm nailing spacer blocks between the trusses. These are 22.5 inches, which is how much space between each layout. We got 4 different guys up here setting these trusses, so each one has their own blocks that they put in as well. And that's just pretty much to help get the trusses standing up straight and even throughout. So we got 4 guys up here setting them and nailing them. We got 1 guy with a rope to make sure that the truss doesn't sway or flap around in the breeze too much. We got a guy on the ground who hands us all our blocks or nails or whatever we need while we're up there. And then we got a crane operator, as well as a person who hooks the crane onto the trusses. So we got 8 guys going for this process. We start at 8 a.m. and then we get all the trusses set by about 11:30 a.m. So for my position, I'm on the back wall. It stays the same throughout the whole house, so I make sure that all the trusses are flush with my top plate. We also got a scaffold built throughout the living room, since there's no walls to walk on between the trusses. So yeah, this will be the basic process of running these trusses. Of course, I'll chime in if anything happens. Since I'm the furthest one from the compressor, I prefer to use the cordless pass load gun. Obviously, I don't record every second of the day, but on truss day, we usually have some decent downtime between trusses. We got a guy handing up a lacer board or a rat run. That's just pretty much a 2x4 to nail the trusses together. Once you get all the trusses installed, you gotta put a lot of lacer boards throughout the house to make sure everything's evenly spaced. For some reason, one of my video files corrupted, so it did miss out on about 6 or 7 trusses right there. I have all the footage of every single truss for the next house though. We have a 2x6 nailed throughout that side wall. It has an 1.5 inch space, so then we can nail the gable truss directly to it. It turns out I actually don't have the footage of us setting this gable truss, but we move on to the next house here in a minute anyways. So it's 10 o'clock now, which means it took us about 2 hours to set the first house, and it'll take us an hour and a half to set these ones. And then on this side we have the 2x4 nailer, which we're nailing the gable truss directly to. It's hard to brace something like this because if you put a brace down into the house, it's just going to block the next incoming trusses. So what we do is we get a 2x4, stand it straight up, nail it to the bottom and top plate, and then connect it with a small block to the, as high as you can get on the truss. So after that, the blocks kind of hold it together, and then one of the guys in the middle sets a cross brace every 6 to 8 trusses to keep everything standing up. I was given a couple wrong size blocks. It doesn't look like it on the GoPro footage, but that's one of the biggest praying mantises I've ever seen. I just kind of wanted to knock him down so he didn't get crushed by the trusses. And here's the last gable truss. It has all those cords running upwards, so then you could plywood it. So after this, 3 of us are going to run plywood and fascia, and then we'll have another couple guys bracing everything off in the attic. The fascia is basically just a 2x6 nailed to the tail end of the trusses, and that's what ends the roof line and what you would attach your gutters to. I use my speed square to plane the truss with the fascia, so that way the plywood will run evenly to the outside corner. I leave the fascia overhanging the gable truss, because afterwards you'll have to attach a fly, which is basically just a overhang rafter. Other than that, you just connect your pieces and eyeball it and beat it in or out to make sure that it's straight. So after the fascia, we could start our roof sheeting. First, we pop a 4-foot line marked off the corner of the fascia, so then our sheeting will stay straight. Then I put helper nails down here to kind of hold up the plywood. Generally, we only have 2 guys sheet, 1 guy cutting and 1 guy nailing, but sometimes you have some extra guys with not much to do, so the most important part gets the most attention. We start the first sheet a couple trusses in, so then every sheet here on will just fall right on layout. Once we get some nails in it, I pull those helper nails so then they don't interfere with my gun hose. And it's very important you make sure you pull your layout so then these trusses are standing up straight. And then I cut the smaller sheet that goes on the gable side. And then I hand over the next full sheet for them. Preferably you have a machine with a basket. If not, you have to lift all the plywood one by one from the ground. So when you're plywooding a roof with trusses, Since they're 2 foot apart, you have to use these little clips in between each span. Unfortunately, when we tried the clips, they weren't fitting correctly. So we ended up doing the full first row in 1/2 inch instead of 5/8 plywood. So instead of finishing this off, we end up moving on to the second house. So while we get the fascia set up for the next house, somebody ends up ripping off all that plywood, and we do end up fixing it in the future. That's a common mistake sometimes. The plywood is only an 1/8 inch difference, so it happens. So that's about the end of day 8. I do end up getting this back piece of fascia on as well. And then in the next video, we'll start sheeting everything and getting these roofs fully closed in. So as always, if there was something that I didn't explain, or if there was something that you would like to know about these trusses, please leave me a comment. Or if you have any feedback, tips, or criticism regarding my video or my work, let me know as well. So yeah, this has been Old Dirty Carpenter. If you like what you saw, make sure you leave a thumbs up or subscribe. And I'll see you on day 9. Oh, I think I come up here.